Now, Giant Despair had a wife whose name was Diffidence. When he had gone to bed, he told his wife what he had done, namely, that he had taken a couple of prisoners and cast them into his dungeon for trespassing on his grounds. He also asked her what he should further do to them. So she asked him who they were, where they came from, and where they were going, and he told her. Then she counseled him that when he awoke in the morning, he should beat them without mercy. So, when he arose in the morning, he took a large crabtree cudgel and went down into the dungeon to them. He began to berate them as if they were dogs, even though they never gave him any reason for doing so. Then he fell upon them and beat them mercilessly with the cudgel, and in such a way that they were not able to defend themselves or escape the giant's clutches. This done, he withdrew and left them there to commiserate their wretchedness and to mourn over their distress. So all that day they spent the time in nothing but sighs and bitter lamentations. The next night, Diffidence, talking further with her husband about the pilgrims, and finding out that they were still alive, told him to advise them to kill themselves. So when morning came, he went to them in the same surly manner as before. Perceiving them to be in much pain because of the beating that he had given them the day before, he told them that since they were never going to get out of that dungeon, the best thing for them would be to kill themselves either with knife, noose, or poison. For why, he questioned, should you choose life, seeing it is attended with so much bitterness? But the pilgrims begged him to let them go. With that, he looked harshly at them. Rushing upon them, he would have doubtless made an end of them, except that he fell into one of his fits, for he sometimes fell into fits in sunshiny weather, and lost the use of his hands for a time. Therefore he withdrew, and left them to consider what they would do. Then the prisoners discussed whether it was best to take his counsel or not, and thus they began to discourse. Christian, brother, what shall we do? The life that we now live is miserable. For my part, I do not know what is best, to live like this, or to kill ourselves. The grave seems better to me than living in this dungeon, only to be oppressed by this giant.